Right. Time is 5:38, and let's go ahead and get this meeting started. And I will turn the consent agenda over to Kat.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Has everyone had a chance to look over the consent agenda? Do we need a minute? Anybody find any mistakes, misspellings, anything they want changed? Jennifer, did you get a copy online?
Yes, ma'am, I did. Thank you. I'm looking at it now too.
Okay. Okay. Motion to approve the consent agenda? Wolf, motion, second motion?
Second.
Thank you, Silas. Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. Any abstaining votes? All right, motion approved. The consent agenda for this meeting has been approved. Thank you. Also, we have a new application. Most of us know Philip. He's been here for a couple of meetings. His application is in the tonight's packet. It looks like it's complete. I'm sorry he's not here.
It's not for lack of one.
Anyone have any comment or on Philip's application for membership?
Nominated.
Motion to approve the application, Silas. Second motion,
I'll
Gary.
second. Okay.
And thank you, Jennifer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. Anyone abstaining from voting? All right, so Philip Kirkland's membership application is approved. Thank you very much. Wish he was here for that.
Good evening, everybody. Next thing on the agenda is the LEAC charter, which we've worked on the last couple of months. And its summary is basically on page 9. And the actual changes you can see from 11 through 17 on the charter. And the biggest thing is it's making our charter more in line with the COC charter. Makes it easier to read and makes it more aligned with the goals of the COC, what we're trying to do. We've had changed a couple things in terms of the application approval process. And that is starting on 11, page 13. And the application is still got to be sent, you still got to attend the LEAC meetings, submit the application, like we just did. And we have changed information about the stipends to the bottom on page 13. And the roles of responsibility on the next page, 14, changed a little bit. And in particular, we changed things from Yes, to league officers from leadership, and the next section is on a little bit of a change on the terms. And we can serve the officers, the co-chairs, myself, Gary, and Kat, serve 2 years, calendar years. And let's see. You can only serve a maximum of 3 consecutive 2-year terms. And we gotta be elected by the majority of the league members, you all. And another small change is from co-chair. Instead of saying co-chair and vice chair, they'll both be co-chairs. And let's see, we have slight changes on the meetings. We can have change added that we're meeting at least 6 times a year. And accessible locations like we are here. And let's see, we do have a little bit of change in terms of cancellations, which might be important for hurricane season. Which is done by the COC Board of Directors or direction of the COC Chair. And so I would be cautious just to make sure that hurricane season, just keeping eyes and ears open for any emails or phone calls. That's the next section that we're coming up on the agenda. Other than that, there is another section on how we're making decisions on meeting a quorum and 50% plus 1 for changes. And that is pretty much it for the changes. Some of it is in the wording, so. The biggest thing is making sure the charter is aligned with the COC charter. Making a few changes with about the memberships and the stipends. And and adding hopefully a youth member as well to the board. So keep an eyes and ears open and welcome people to come visit, particularly if they're the youth member who happens to be homeless. That said, any questions about that?
Thank you, Michael, for going through all that. I just had a question about under the Lived Experience Advisory Committee members, recommended members. So this is on the bottom of page 2. So these are the recommended members of who you all would like as part of your LEAC advisory, well, the LEAC committee. That's a little redundant, lived experience advisory committee. But you're going from everything is like one person, except you've got 2 people who are currently experiencing homelessness in Pinellas County. I think that's good. I mean, my opinion is I think it's good to have people who are currently experiencing it. So we know exactly what's going on out there. But the only question I have is you're changing it from used to have it one person with you said you combined one person living with a physical disability and one person living with a mental or emotional disability into just one person with a disability. That's how I understand it. And that's fine, but you used to have like 2 people that had experienced some kind of disability on your committee. That was your recommendation, and now you've got just 1.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, it's my understanding, which is not totally comprehensive and 100%, that there are a lot of people out there struggling with homelessness who have different types of disabilities. So do you want to change that to 2 or what? If you could just explain.
That's just that's a minimum of what we'd like to see. it doesn't hinder anyone with any disability from becoming a member. That is just a minimum requirement we would like to see happen.
Active,
Thank you.
right now, we currently have 3.
Oh, currently I have 3. Oh,
Three.
great.
Myself, Bill. Silas. Okay, we go ahead.
Back on page 9, maximum of 3 consecutive 2-year terms added. I say that if we vote, that if we like the person this represents us, just leave them there as long as we feel like they're productive. And I don't see why we should put a limit, because the rest of us might not feel that we can do as good of a job and represents the community. So we have a leader up there, we can keep them as long as we want. I don't know why there's limits. Because our objective is to help the community.
Right.
I don't know who set that rule. I was involved.
The reason for term limits are so that we can get fresh ideas, fresh opinions, fresh views, fresh experiences as officers. They sometimes sit on more than one committee. They sometimes sit on a committee and a board. They go to city council meetings, and term limits allow others to take a position of being heard. It allows for just a fresh point of view.
As a committee, we may not want a fresh point of view because a person may be doing a stellar job and we don't want them to be limited by whatever. So I don't know if we can vote as that, have a consensus of the rest of, because this is an open mic. Everybody gets to put fresh ideas every meeting. In fact, there's people that put real old ideas every meeting, the same old.
So I will add to that, that this is one of the things that brings the lived experience charter into closer alignment with other COC charter documents. For instance, the primary COC governance charter has limits for all board members. All board members with the COC have a limitation of a 2-year term with a maximum of 3 terms, except for officers. For instance, Chair Beckman serves a 3-year term with a maximum of 2 consecutive terms. Now, at the end of those 2 terms, if Chair Beckman were to serve 6 years, Chair Beckman would have to resign for 1 year, but could then come back to the board and reapply to be chair that next year. Now, that year that Chair Beckman has, and I'm sorry, I'm picking on you, I'm just using you as an example, but that year that Chair Beckman has resigned from chair does not mean that she cannot serve on the COC board. It just means she can't serve on the COC board in that seat. So this is one of the things that brings the charter into closer alignment with COC governance documents. And it doesn't prohibit anybody from participating. That participation is still necessary. It's still encouraged. And one of the best roles, and I think Chair Beckman would tell you this, one of the best roles and one of the best members of a committee that you can have is the immediate past chair, because then you can work together to try and really make sure things remain on target for the year. And so that's in addition to what Kat thinks. Kat is entirely right as well, but that is the other explanation for that one. And I hope that helped explain things. You don't have to agree with it. That's okay.
Why do we have to follow those guidelines when what we're trying to
Because we
achieve?
have a chart and the board.
Are we going to be thrown off the charter if we don't follow those guidelines? Or are those like being a congressman or a Democrat or what do they mean? Is it really, can we do something different in the United States because the homeless problem is not being addressed and things are not happening? They're not being fixed. Why don't we try to do something different and actually make a change? Because if you're doing a good job, I don't want you to step down, Kat. Never. And I don't know about the rest of the people, but if I can't fill your position, so I don't care about the other charter. I care about the people in the street that I have to go and look at their splattered brains on the street, because it matters to me, because that person I may know. And if we have some program that may help them just maybe. That's what is more important than some guidelines.
Kinda gotta go look at it this way. It's kinda like the military. They shift them around all the time. So that people don't, that are under the commander or whoever is that's in charge of all the people, so they don't get used to them. So there's no nepotism.
Don't go in the military. I'm not-
Exactly. People don't get comfortable. They don't want people to get comfortable, especially in positions of
The
power.
military's full of shit.
And I think it's also a matter of complacency. Once you've done something for so long.
Exactly. You get comfortable and people get used to you, and
We have a
then
tendency to get a little complacent.
shady stuff happens.
Yeah,
That's what we vote for. If you're complacent, I'm gonna talk to my fellow, oh, yeah, we're gonna give many.
right. But the fact of the matter is, Ron, we operate by a charter.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do.
Show me the paperwork that says we do.
Motorcycle clubs operate by a charter too.
Sure.
We're not the Hells Angels, so.
I know, but it's the concept.
United States.
It's the concept. That was my.
Both of those comments don't mean.
In order to be
thing. I was actually at
To be here.
Family Cafe about 2 weeks ago. Around there,
By our.
there was probably 30,000 people. out there.
see.
And everybody was, I was out there.
That makes a whole lot of sense, right?
But if we didn't operate by those guidelines, they take our money.
Probably.
Yeah, they probably.
Probably, is that your opinion or that's?
No, I just have.
No, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's a fact.
what if, okay,
This committee
yes,
is,
ma'am.
this committee is operated by a non-profit organization. Therefore, it requires a charter to operate.
Well, that's
I
not
get that.
written
I understand that.
We can address this issue at the next meeting if
down.
you
I'm
guys
taking up too much time.
feel it's necessary.
No, I understand that really well when you said that.
We want to achieve some goals here. Just ask Jared.
You got a man named Mike.
Hi, I think as long as we continue to come to these meetings and bringing, like today, I happened to be at a spot where I was able to get a lot of information to bring here. Listen, all in all, everybody brings something to this meeting, like you said. Eventually, it will come to the point where we can link things together to really help the homeless more than ever before. It's gonna happen. There's too many good people out there and other departments, agencies that are doing street outreaches now. And people want to help. There's a lot of good people that want to help. We have homeless come in my park, so my property manager doesn't like it because the police don't want to put them in jail, because they're homeless. But I'm just gonna say, as long as we work together, we can agree to disagree. That's gonna happen wherever we're at. But as long as we have a common mindset that we want to help and put our thoughts forward and bring help, whatever, it's gonna work if you keep that mindset. I understand. Right now, we're way off topic.
Yeah, well, we got there
Like we haven't
somehow.
been before,
We kind of got
for
there
the last
somehow.
2 years.
Thank you.
On page 12, where we have membership attendance and stipends, it's important that we keep the language recommended or suggested. Keep it that way because not to be too precise. I know that we have several people here who are members who are seniors and disabled. And we basically want to have a broad membership.
Yes.
Ages and experience and so on as well,
Yes.
right?
But stipends,
We don't want to restrict it.
in reference to stipends, it will be precise.
Yeah. Another thing is, I don't see any language explaining how the COC application is approved or accomplished or so. We know about the LEAC application, But I don't know, do you see anything about the, the COC, there are two applications.
Yes, and it says it says in the first paragraph, the Pinellas Continuum of Care. Page 11, Norm, go to page 11.
Page 11.
Page 11.
Of the charter.
Right. Overview.
And look where it says Pinellas Continuum of Care, Lived Experience Advisory Committee. It's at the very top.
At the very top.
Top of page 11.
Oh, actually, yeah. So it's actually the membership committee. According to that,
The COC does have a membership committee.
yeah, the membership, committee. Okay. I see. Okay, it's specified in there, yeah.
This
Yeah,
is just
but-
pertaining. This is just pertaining to the LEAC charter.
It's specified in the very first thing. Another question I have, I don't know, whether that's part of the charter, but by what methods, can members request items to be added to the agenda, and how soon in advance of the meeting? How is that established?
We do that at every.
How is that?
We do that at every meeting. That's standard operating procedure. At every meeting, if we want something added for the next meeting, we do that.
We've been doing that for 2 years.
Yeah, that's
Are you talking about in this committee?
Yes,
yeah, it's kind of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, we decided here as a
Yeah,
leadership.
because I know sometimes we table things and so.
Sometimes we do.
Over, yeah.
sometimes we do when we
I'm
need.
talking about maybe a new item, which we want to add in.
When someone wants to bring up a new item, we do that. We ask for a motion, we vote on it, or we get that information in to the minutes to be discussed at the next meeting.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you mean, yeah, okay. So we can bring it up at this meeting,
Right now, we're trying to stay on topic.
yeah.
But
yeah,
yes,
now I know we
if-
stay
if-
on topic.
If
yeah.
there's something you'd like to bring up at this point about the charter, now would be the time to do
That's
it.
right, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
I agree. We're fine.
Gary.
Jennifer has a question online.
Jennifer, please.
Yeah, so, well, I was just stating that the COC membership, like what Norm was talking about, like this charter is just pertaining to the LEAC charter. And then as far as like, requesting, items to be added to the agenda, it doesn't just have to be at the meeting. Everybody has Gary's number. People can also reach out to, Victoria. If they think of something when they're not at the meeting, they can reach out to Gary, or, the Michael or Kat, and, have it discussed that way as well. So it doesn't just need to be, can y'all hear me pretty good?
And Megan is also pretty much always available.
Right. And Megan.
Thank you for that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, one other question, in the decision making, I believe that's somewhere in the charter. What's brought up is electronic voting. How does that apply to the LEC charter? What is electronic voting? It's in there somewhere in, Oh, okay, good.
Electronic voting is what Jennifer is doing today.
Yes.
So if you have to join us on Zoom because you're sick or something like that, you are still able to vote. You just do it electronically. Also, electronic voting might be if, for instance, the charter were not approved today, but there was a small edit, we might be able to then send it around to the group in email for approval that way. So there are a couple different things that go into electronic voting, but that is just expanding opportunities and taking some of the responsibility out of meetings. Because for instance, sometimes there are really quick things or really urgent things that are better handled over email. And we also want to make sure that everybody can participate. So I hope that answers that question.
Okay, thank you.
And that was likely about our charter. Um,
We need to vote. We need to vote for that here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Okay, are there any more questions, changes, additions, spelling corrections, anything about the charter at its current point? Is this something we'd like to go ahead and pass and get it to the board? Can I get a motion, Silas? Can I get a motion second?
I motion to approve.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Second.
All in favor of this? Okay. Any against? Anyone abstaining? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, you guys. So we've come up with something that we hope will assist through hurricane season. And it's basically a good old fashioned phone tree. And sign up for the phone tree is voluntary. And what we thought we would do was see if people wanted to sign up to be notified or contacted by phone so that someone would know where you are, when you expect to be back, and can be contacted if something happens. Or if you're not back when you should be back, then there's someone looking for you. Based on the number of people that are willing to sign up, what we thought we would do is take the list in its entirety, divide it up between the three of us, and each of us would have a set number of people that we could check on and that would check in with us after the storm. But we'd like any opinions, ideas, if you think it's something that we should do. I mean,
Well, this is nothing new to me. Gary Small's been doing this the whole time. I mean, at least with me and Jack, I mean, he's reached out from the beginning. If we're sick or if anybody here, if he finds out anybody, he lets me know what's going on and I so appreciate that. But I do agree that it should be all three of you. And I had asked you for your number before, I don't have it, but it is a really good idea to check on me because you don't ever know. And I mean, and if anybody can help in any way, you know, you don't ever know. Like when we went to Zephyr Hills, we didn't think we'd be without power. We were at my mom's. It was horrible. And had to get my mother and him to safety. I'm the youngest, so you know, you get that.
okay, because not everybody
Yeah.
gets the electronic notices,
Right.
the text, the emails, the notices. So just as a backup, we were thinking that it might be a good idea to check in with people, find out where they're going, make sure they know how to get there. Check in after the storm, make sure everybody's okay and back where they're supposed to be. So if that's something we'd like to do, we can go ahead and get that going, you know, during storm season.
I think it's a good idea.
I should have printed this out and I apologize, I didn't. I just wanted to tell y'all what we would ask for. It's basically all the information we have right now. Your name, phone number, email address, frequent area of stay, and then an emergency contact name and phone number if we can't get a hold of you. And I also want to reiterate, this is voluntary and your consent is needed to be involved in us contacting you.
We're also gonna ask which shelter you plan on going to and if you have transportation or know how to get there.
I would say also that, anybody that feels vulnerable in any way, as far as you're moving around, you're actually homeless or whatever. I would behoove you to sign up for Alert Pinellas because they don't miss. Last year, they called me like 5 times within a week before everything happened.
Yeah, that's what I work with too, yeah. But this is just sort of a backup, you know, it's people go different places in different directions and they get there different ways and then, you know, we're not really aware sometimes for a couple of days if nobody's shown up yet. This would be a good way for us to keep an eye on each other and make sure everybody got back safely.
Well, I would say that the good thing about Alert Pinellas too is if worst case scenario, they will come, the fire department themselves, somebody, they will come and get you. They will have an ambulance come. It doesn't matter. They will get you where you need to go.
Right.
Especially if you don't have a way to do that
Right,
yourself.
but I feel like a phone tree, especially for, you know, we have a lot of people right now that are newer to homelessness. And they may not know that the buses are free if you're going to a storm shelter. They may not know how to get there. I think it's just a good way to touch base and make sure everybody knows where everybody is and what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's not a good idea. It is. It's just, I myself took that extra step and then, like I said, they called me for it. You gotta wait
Yeah.
there. You gotta do.
Yeah, they're pretty persistent. Yeah. So is this something we wanna proceed with because it's storm season?
I do. I make a motion. Yes.
Silas, second motion?
Oh, Ron. Oh,
Pat, you told us last year, I guess you were stranded in Clearwater. Let's avoid that and have some kind of transportation, even if it's within the committee, like I have a car or
Exactly.
other people, and we can help each other, or it almost has to be,
That's a good point.
we have to know real time what's available. And
Right.
because of the resources and the connections that this committee has formed, that we can help our members and the members help people, because Gary
Right.
knows a lot of homeless. And then he can help them, because a lot of homeless don't want to deal with anything
That's-
except
That's a
their own,
really good point
because you were stranded with Clearwater.
for a whole day, yeah.
No, you don't want to be there.
Ron makes a good point. Last year, I went to Largo High for one of the hurricanes, and when Largo High kicked us out, the buses still weren't running. So I was stranded in Largo for over 24 hours until the buses started running again.
Let me guess.
Not happy about it.
Let me guess. It was a Sunday.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It wasn't a Sunday. The buses just were not back up yet. They were not running yet.
Because that's what they did to us.
And,
they kicked us out on a Sunday. You know, what the kids are coming back.
You know, you did everything you were supposed to do and you get up there and you spend 3 days in this high school with this storm. And then all of a sudden they come in and tell you it's time to go. And no, we're sorry, PSTA is not running. Yeah.
As an organization in the committee, the county has a lot of resources, because I'm from California. I've never seen so many emergency personnel respond to nothing. there'll be 4 fire trucks and 7 police cars. I'm like, well, what are you guys doing here? It's one guy got hit by a car and he's walking wounded. But I love it, the response, because I did that, but if during the end of the hurricane, some of us, a few of us are licensed to drive maybe a 12-person bus. And we do what they can't do because emergency personnel are, they have guidelines, what they can do. So we can go pick up homeless people we know, or homeless people that contact the committee, because Gary is friends with a lot and I have a few, but, and you too. So we get personal phone calls and we're already licensed and everything's legal.
Yeah.
Through the county, because if it's done right, the county will probably help us with,
They will.
like an old 12-person bus and maybe a brand new one. They got resources unbelievable in it.
I can back up what you said from my actual experience. I stayed in 4 different ones over an entire month. And it seemed like with the first couple of them, I went to Oak Grove Middle School first because it was special needs, and then they sent us down to the Coliseum. I was down there with my hand on my thumbs for a week. And then I was at a place on Martin Luther King, the community center over there. I stayed there overnight because they didn't have no place for me. I had to sleep in a lunchroom. And then they sent me to Light of Christ Church, and I stayed there for like 2 weeks or whatever. It seemed that it was a little bit more put together when the Red Cross was running some of that stuff. The stuff that happened during the beginning, it was, once they shoved everybody into the thing, it was like, now you're here. A lot of that kind of stuff happened to a lot of people, especially the first one with pets and all of that stuff at a special needs shelter.
Okay, with all honesty, one thing that was complicating your situation was, you have a large dog, or, and they have to have accommodations for that.
Yeah.
So, they don't want to squeeze her in with a bunch of strangers, so, they had to accommodate you as far as that goes, so, yeah, there's gonna be some difficulties.
I think basically what I'm saying is there was too many chiefs and not enough Indians when they were trying to get things coordinated and together. It made it really difficult for a lot of, especially a lot of older people at the special needs place, because.
Yes, there seems to be a common problem.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the phone tree process.
Motion.
Silas, second? Anyone second the motion? Thank you, Charlene. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone against, say nay. Any abstaining? All right, we have a phone tree.
Okay. All right. Didn't have much time to prepare with this. But, we're going to be discussing with, advocacy. Ms. Beckman has talked about, workshops to learn how to tell your story better in a constructive manner, which to get the story out there, try and alleviate some of the stigma that we have as far as homeless goes. Trying to get our stories out in a compassionate way to, get people more or less on our side and less against us. Has anyone seen this document?
Everyone's good at
You got them?
Okay, they have that one, sorry. Everyone's got that one, yeah. That's not this now. Make sure that I have enough for voting members real quick. Perfect. I do have enough for voting members. Perfect. Of course. Oh, there's not that one. Yes, you know, yeah. So we got one.
Basically, being a good storyteller is using the right language and telling the story in the right manner. Yeah. Yes, Norm?
Want to hear a story of how I became homeless? Is that what we?
No.
No, what we're talking about is, no, we're talking about the constructive manner of which to tell the story, learning how to tell the story in a constructive manner. Is what we're actually talking about.
Thank you. I want to add that the packet that I just passed out, this is a draft survey that HLA put together and that the officers here had a chance to look over, provide some feedback on. And we're hoping for some feedback from this committee as well. The idea of this survey is that it is 100% optional. People in this group can fill it out, your friends, your family, people you meet, I don't know, anybody can fill it out, really. The idea is that we are getting information so that we can help tell your story. Because hearing about homelessness in an abstract is one thing. Hearing about homelessness because, you know, Mary, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to use you as an example. I was picking a random name and I'm sorry. Okay, no James. No, Jane. Okay, so Jane, I'll use Jane as an example. It is, you know, went through a really tragic experience, left an abusive household and took her kids out of that. And, you know, with her dog went and to Casa and hearing these stories, hearing about Jane is so much more impactful than if I come up to you and I say, there's somebody who had to flee some domestic violence and they're experiencing homelessness, and you should care about that. That's kind of abstract. So the idea is that we are asking for stories so that we can take them and make and share them with the community. Now, not all stories will be shared, and not all stories would be shared in the same way. Some stories would be shared through things like the flyers that you have in front of you. Other stories might be somebody has volunteered to go on camera. And, you know, in the future, we'll work with, I've already talked to St. Pete College and a few other places that have programs, video programs, where they might be willing to come and do video interviews for folks. And these stories, they help not only destigmatize homelessness, which last meeting is what this group identified as the main goal of the next advocacy program or topic. They also go along with helping ensure that organizations like the HLA, organizations like Foley Centers, St. Vincent de Paul, those organizations that are part of the COC, that they also have important, valuable stories that they can tell. These stories, they help us not only destigmatize homelessness, they help us support the fact that we need funding. We need educators, we need lawmakers to care, we need healthcare providers to care. This goes so much further than just a story that gets shared on social media. And that is really the primary goal here. So we're hoping for a little feedback And then the idea after that is that it then goes to the COC's advocacy committee, of which Chair Beckman is the chair of. And the advocacy committee can then take that, and this can be a collaborative project. So that there's really some stuff to work on together. That is the idea here. Of course, ideas can change, ideas can grow, but that is really what I was hoping for. Oh, sorry, Silas had his hand up for her. Sorry.
I would say in a nutshell that the point you're trying to make is sometimes you only get one chance to make a first impression. And I'm just gathering from this, not even looking through it, is that the point of this is so when you have that first contact with somebody, like last year I did with Joe LaPile, Rick Scott, and a bunch of people that were at the Family Cafe. And I wanted to say all my stuff so bad. I pooped out a diarrhea of word vomit. And when you have that chance to make that first impression, you don't want to do that because it'll turn that person off.
You're not wrong.
No, I know I'm not wrong because I do it. I do it a lot because I'm just very graphic with the way that I speak, and then
Yeah.
I've always been the person. Especially when I'm talking about my feelings, that I want to jump off this top. It doesn't mean I want to actually do it. I'm trying to explain. Sometimes I do that, and like I said, I poop out a word vomit. It's
You're illustrative.
yes. Very emotional, very draining. Is what my mother used to call me.
Probably half the people that I know associate are homeless. I took 3 homeless people to church Sunday morning, took them back to the same church Sunday evening. So usually I have a van. Half of the people that I know that call me or I call them or I pick up are homeless. So wherever I go, this is so-and-so, 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 and so-and-so, and so-and-so. And then sometimes one of the homeless person might talk to somebody where I'm at. I go all over, and I'm glad I can take homeless people to church. I'm glad I can take homeless people to the beach. Gulfport is where I hang out, and I know a lot of homeless people down there. And I take homeless people with me to Gulfport. So I like I said, half the people that I know are homeless, hang out with me. So I'm very thankful that I can do that.
That's good. And that would be a good opportunity to share this with a wider audience right there. Fantastic.
I just want to say, relative to this here, it's not the second chance on first impression. That's a little different. It's a chance to get away from the default impression people outside our community have about people who are in the community, which is us.
That expression point of
It is not about making the first impression. It's about telling people something that does not fit the ordinary narrative from the people outside looking in, that they're alcoholics, they're drug addicts, or whatever default excuse they have for being homeless, and it's ridiculous. And so what this does, I think, is helping get over that default impression, because it's not who we are. It's not where we're going. And it's not why we're here in this situation. So I think doing something like this and making sure that anybody you talk to, interact with, is a positive experience, and telling them that this is part of life. It's not a default. You're not here to ruin anybody's life by being in the situation we just happen to be stuck somewhere. And it's not reinforcing the old stereotype while we're here. So I think going over, doing this type of stories, if you can do them, it would be helpful. Well, it's the people who read these, who will see these, the people who already have a default first impression on homeless. We're trying to get over that here.
Did you understand the point?
Yeah.
You're in front of the lawmaker or
Yeah.
somebody, and you're trying to get a point across, you need to do it in an eloquent sort of way. So you did, oh, this guy's crazy, you know that, because as soon as that happens, they stop listening, period.
It's not who we are.
Because I had that happen.
To get people to understand that default Christian is not who we are.
Jennifer has a question online.
Oh, I just had a comment. I had a comment. So I was actually supposed to go on a radio show on Monday, and because of my injury to myself, I'm not gonna be able to make it. But that was gonna be not only just sharing my story, but also advocating for the COC to get it out to the community and their listeners. Because the more people in the community that are aware of the COC, that's more people, because there's probably so many people out there that really want to help, and they see the unhoused people out on the street and they don't know how to help and don't have any clue about the COC. So I'm hoping that, once I get well enough, I can reschedule that, because that was a wonderful opportunity that was afforded to me. And I, had a fall and hurt myself. So I'm still trying to baby it. And but maybe somebody else could go on and talk to the lady and just get it out there.
This is Silas. Get a hold of me and I will go and speak for you.
Okay. Check with Chair Beckman, because she was going to go with me. So yeah, check with her. Like anybody that, like, the more the quicker and that we can get that out there by more than one person is gonna, get the community that's not aware of it.
If I may interrupt, could you both go at the same time with the same radio show perhaps?
Up here.
However we can get it out to the public, like the spectrum. Yeah.
I split up from like 500 people in the group and told everything.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, Jennifer and I were going to go on the Kelly show on Monday. And we were going to schedule a meeting with Kelly. Her name is Kelly. She married a man, the last name Kelly. Her name is Kelly. But we were going to meet with Kelly before the show, just to understand what the show is about and the question and answer format. So it does take some preparation. And I have a comfort level with Jennifer because I've seen Jennifer speak before the Clearwater Council, and she stays within 3 minutes and all that stuff. And it takes some preparation to get ready for a thing. And when Jennifer canceled was because of her medical condition. Yesterday, we've already worked on a replacement. Kelly has to work on a replacement for that Monday show. And so while I appreciate you volunteering, I'm not going to interrupt Kelly's plans because she's been texting me today about who she's planning to. I think with our PID report coming out, we're going to discuss it at tomorrow's COC meeting. I hope anyone in here who wants to attend to hear the results of that point in time count, the recommendations. It's a very important meeting and discussion. I think that would be good to be on a radio show or the news. But that doesn't mean we can't have the sit down one-on-one like Jennifer was planning with maybe 2 or 3 of us. It's a very, very small radio studio, very tight. In fact, only 3 people generally can sit around this little, microphone booth. But we can work on it. And I think the discussion on the agenda that Gary talked about telling our stories takes time and practice to get them the way you want, like you were saying. Especially because a lot of these media events, a radio show, or even a council meeting, they give you 2 or 3 minutes and then the mic is cut off. And I mean, you don't want to be cut off mid-sentence. I've been cut off at school board meetings mid-sentence because I didn't practice enough and, there it goes. So it's okay to spend some time at this kind of meeting and really hone your message in and think about the different ways you can tell your story and all that stuff. So it takes time to do a good job. Yeah.
And there were a lot of really good questions.
Yeah.
The questions that she had proposed for the show. There were a lot of really good questions, and I could send those to Megan, and she could send them out to like the committee or whatever, and to, for that prep work for like telling your story and different things.
That's right. Thank you. I think that's a good idea, Jennifer, but I would also say that this particular radio host and show, while they have a list of those questions they might ask you within this hour format, they won't ask you anything you don't feel comfortable about. So you get to like pre-screen them. So where you can think about them, if you're like, you know what, I just don't feel comfortable answering that, she won't ask you that question. I think one thing you might want to think about though is last meeting, we had a pretty good discussion about what storytelling might look like is you need to think about if you want it on your agenda. Do you want it on the next meeting? Do you want to wait a meeting? Do you want, maybe like I could bring you 3 different samples of how stories could be told in 2 or 3 minutes and you could just take them and think about them. So there are all sorts of different ways to approach it, but like Kat was saying, you got to get it on an agenda. That's got to be an ask. And if it's not an ask, that's okay. It can be an ask later.
Okay, we're going to shift over to resource sharing. Philip did provide a very extensive amount of resource sharing of where we had talked about before about food pantries, hot meals, locations, days of the week, phone numbers. Unfortunately, Bill got in an accident this morning. I will make sure that they are printed up, and I promise you the next meeting we have, you all get a copy of it. It's about 5 pages. You'll all get a copy. If I have to send it to you, I could either send it to you in a message, or I could just print it out and hand it to you at the next meeting. Whatever you want. You want both? You would. But we went through, and every place that provides a hot meal, what day of the week it is, what time to be there, the phone numbers available, places that offer showers, places that offer laundry, and see, this is something that you can carry with you. And if somebody happens to ask you, you don't have to call anybody. You have it right there. Now, if you lose the paper, you can always call and get it again, but you have it right there.
That's why I want both.
All right. And but I give you my word, next meeting we have, I will bring printouts of all that, enough for everyone. All right. as far as the, now changes to existing services, I don't have anything on that. As far as any changes to existing, we have a couple new places that are supposed to be opening them up, but those are like down by Central Avenue. Okay. One thing I wanted to get in there real quick. Does any of you have any homeless that you see out riding bikes at night with no lights on? Anyone?
Yeah, we're.
You do? Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need more.
I can arrange for you to receive these. Each bag consists of a tail light, a headlight, a backpack, high visibility. The whole idea is we've had so many deaths for the homeless, and I understand they're spraying their bikes black. They're wearing dark pants, dark shirt.
Dark. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so we're not seen at night. Yeah, I get it.
Oh, you think about it? Okay.
So, yeah. I never more than we covered, so I didn't know what I stuff.
These are provided by Safe Life.
Okay.
And, they've been very gracious in supplying those. I've personally handed about 180 sets out. But I can supply you with some if you'd like to carry some around. And
I gave away the ones that you gave me already. I want some.
okay. As for resource sharing, other than offering the, one from, that Bill put together, and that's it, it's 5 pages and it's very extensive. I sent Ms. Beckman a copy, I sent Nick a copy. Victoria, if you'd like a copy, I'll send you one too. All right, other than that, I don't have anything to add. And I don't want to waste any time with because we've already lost quite a few minutes of tonight. So I'm going to pass the mic.
Excellent. Excellent. Can I borrow your agenda?
Yes.
Thank you. Gotta have what I'm looking at. Okay. So I wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of upcoming meetings within the COC, because the continuum of care is a lot of different moving parts, a lot of people working together to try and end homelessness in a few different ways. Everybody kind of has, the role that they fill. So the Funders Council, the Providers Council, the Advocacy Committee, the Lived Experience Advisory Committee aren't going to always approach every single problem at the same time or at the same way. And so the opportunity to know what's going on in those other groups or to join those other groups if it's the right fit is something that I want to make sure everybody is aware of, because the COC is not just this room. It is so much, this is a huge part of it, but it is so much bigger than just this room. And I would love to see this room expand even further into the COC. That's really what I want to see. So with that in mind, there are a few meetings coming up. Chair Beckman already referenced tomorrow's COC board meeting. Of course, Chair Beckman, Gary, and Mike will be there as board members. Megan and I will be there too. But on top of just a regular board meeting, which are always, by the way, I think worth attending, you can do them virtually, and then you know what's going on at the board. But outside of we do that in Largo, by the way, but it's also on Zoom. So the recommendation would absolutely be to join us on Zoom so that you don't need to drive out. And if there are enough folks in this room that want to sit in on that meeting, I will go talk to Meg and I'll see if there's a chance that we could get that set up on a Zoom screen here at the library.
They're not open yet.
They're not open.
They don't open at 9. They don't.
Okay, well, scratch that. If there are enough people that want to attend virtually,
Why I can't.
I'll think on it. So tomorrow, on top of just the board meeting, the point in time report is going to be presented. That point in time report is our snapshot of homelessness that we do every single year. How many folks have seen people going around with clipboards in January asking if you want to do a survey about homelessness and housing in Pinellas County? Yeah, I know you have, Nick. So that is the point in time count. The data that is collected through these surveys that the volunteers go out and do, it helps folks up in DC, folks in Tallahassee, and our elected officials, our funders, our providers, our advocates here locally know what homelessness is actually like in our community. They do these point in time counts across the entire country. Communities do them every other year. We do them every year because we like to be a little bit fancier and a little bit more informed. So the point in time count, the report that is going to be presented tomorrow, it is an analysis of that data, an analysis of homelessness in our community that is used to really tell everybody what is going on in our community, to tell everybody what homelessness is like in our community. This is why we know that we have, for instance, the 5th highest rate of individual homelessness in the country compared to other communities our size. It's because of the information collected through these types of things. So the point in time count report is going to be presented tomorrow. That is going to be that snapshot of homelessness. And there's a lot of really good information that comes out of that. Of course, the report is publicly available as well once it is approved by the board. Won't be publicly available until it's approved by the board. And the presentation will be on YouTube. So if you can't attend tomorrow's presentation, don't worry, you can still watch it. You can still read the report. You can still see the quick facts. All of that will still be available, but that is tomorrow. Then from there is a domestic violence awareness training that's going to be on the 23rd. That will also be on Zoom. You are welcome to join that. There's no certification for this training. Just want to make sure that everybody is aware. And so that you know, even when you attend trainings that don't have certifications, those are the kinds of things you can put on your resume. I just attended domestic violence awareness training. Doesn't hurt. I've never walked into an interview and they've said, oh, well, we don't like that. So that's there for you. July 29th, Summer Health Fair. This one is a really cool thing that they're doing down at the Health and Human Services building in St. Pete. That's also where the HLA office is, by the way. So I will be there on the 29th, which is a Tuesday, I want to say. And we're going to be passing out more of the hot weather kits. There are also going to be a lot of providers there providing information, resources, and connecting with services. But the main theme of this is going to be extreme heat and making sure that people have resources for that extreme heat. So the information for that is in your packet. Advocacy Committee is going to meet on August 4th online. And then August 12th is the next COC membership meeting. This is going to take place at the Pinellas County Housing Authority. And on Zoom. And if you arrive a little early, you can also do a tour of Evra Health, which they have right there on site. Really excited that they're going to offer that tour as well. That's what's going on with upcoming meetings. And Silas, I know you had your hand up and I didn't want to forget this time.
I was just gonna say that, when it comes to the lawmakers and stuff, it's, you really don't know what homeless is like until it's happened to you. I really, and I was storming it in my head in there, but I really think that in order to be an elected official, you should have to do a stint at least for a month of being homeless, like the Israeli army has to do then you know what it's like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Credit card.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they know, even with all the data, all that stuff is good.
Yeah.
But they don't know because it hasn't happened to them.
Yep, and you are entirely right. And we can't make everybody go and have that experience, but what we can do is we can have things like the PIT report for our really data-minded folks. And we can have things like these personal stories for our emotional folks. And when we're able to combine data with personal stories, that's when you hit the sweet spot, because that's when you're able to tap into somebody's scholarly brain and pull on somebody's heartstrings. I might be talking to you and you don't give a hootie tootie toot toot what my story is, because that is just not your thing. But if I tell you that if you support me, your business is gonna save this much money, you're like, oh, well, sign me right up. So having those things that we can put together is really how a successful advocacy campaign is built. And you are entirely right that nobody knows what this experience is like until you have it. I certainly don't. That's the entire point of this committee, because we need experts, and it's really important to have that lived expertise. And so, yeah, this is hopefully the combination of the data and the storytelling is really going to drive us home somewhere. That's the hope, at least. Any other questions about upcoming meetings? All right, then I'm going to pass this along to your leaders again. I don't know who this goes to.
I would like that information.
Yeah.
It is in the agenda.
It is?
Yep.
What page?
Yeah, so just.
Okay.
What page of the agenda?
This is a page for us.
Yeah, I know. What page? Silence. What page?
Oh.
Oh, I know where it's at.
First, back of
Makes
the,
sense too.
back of the first page.
Thank you.
We're down to article number 9, public comment and good news stories.
Well, I'd like to take a moment just to thank Victoria Kelly for her work with the HLA and her work, especially getting this committee started and working with y'all for the last 2 years. I think she's done a phenomenal job here, and I appreciate her efforts very much.
We do. We thank you very much.
On that note, I don't know if this is a good news story, but I do want to let everybody know, because I have valued my time with this committee more than I can actually begin to tell you. This committee is one of the best things that I have ever been a part of. And I am so grateful for that in ways that, like, the hair on my face is standing up, but just thinking about how grateful I am to y'all. Yes, I have hair on my face, and yes, I admitted that on camera. But so I am not saying goodbye to the community, but I am departing HLA. And so this is going to be my last lived experience meeting. But the last 2 meetings have been, or the last 2 years have been unbelievable. And I am just so grateful. I promise, I told Kat, I live in St. Pete. I live like 10, 15 minutes from this library. You're not getting rid of me. I'm still going to be here. And I'm so excited. I'm going to volunteer for PIT this year. I'm not going to be stuck behind a computer. I'm going to go out and I'm going to take surveys. So make sure you're volunteering with me. We can maybe be on a team together. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Chair Beckman.
Thank you.
Okay, so since you just blew our heads off, who's replacing you? Oh my goodness.
So, great question. I probably should have said that as well. The HLA will be hiring a position known as a special initiatives manager, and that person will be in charge of managing and leading the point in time count, as well as Pinellas' cold night shelter program. And you will, in the meantime, absolutely have Ms. Megan over here. And Sherry, who couldn't join us today because she thinks she's coming down with something and wanted to make sure nobody here came down with it as well. But Sherry, our interim CEO, who y'all have met, she's been with us for about a year now, and she's been coming to these meetings for most of that time. So Megan and Sherry will be here to make sure that everything stays on track, that all of these projects are still going. And Chair Beckman, I'm just going to say, because you're here all the time too, that you're going to support. And Nick is the HLA vice chair as well. So you've got more leaders here in this room than I see in a lot of committees, honestly. So I think this committee is in really, really, really fantastic hands. And thank you for letting me be part of this.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you. Thanks. I will, I promise.
Okay.
Air hug.
That's a law.
Anyone else with news or short story or anything they'd like to add?
I would.
Well, it's not quite a good story. Well, it's a good story and
Gary
then,
knows about this. I, when at lunch yesterday, I talked to the people that, were, at, what table, what was that table? What was that lady? It's, the lady that had all of Narcan and stuff at the,
Oh, yeah, we're united.
yeah. She's gonna start bringing me boxes of that stuff. I'm gonna start giving it out to everybody. Yeah. Well, I know nobody else other than Gary knows this, but yesterday was the 5th anniversary of my brother's death. And I found him in the morning. He decided to shoot up during the night and I found him the next morning. I didn't have any in the house. I didn't know, he was hiding it from me. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what to look for or any of that stuff. But, and when by the time I found him, he was stiff. It would have been already, he did it sometime in the middle of the night and I didn't wake up till like 6 in the morning when I found him to take him to work. But even if I had found him when it first happened, I wouldn't have been able to save him because they didn't have it in the house. Ever since then, I carry at least 2 boxes in my car. There's 2 boxes in at my home. I took 2 boxes to the video game store down there on Park Place Plaza. There's a video game store down there. Those are my friends. Those 2 that I took yesterday, that's who I gave them to. Because they didn't have any there and they said they've already used them half a dozen times now. Because of the area where that store is. Yeah. I have some over at where my van is right now too. For the same reason.
Rainbow Mart on 49th Street, we used a couple Narcans up there. They bought several people in the laundromat next door.
All right.
That.
Yeah. But once I get that box next week, I need to get with you about where to go and.
In the 2 years I've been out here, I've lost 28 people that I personally have met and was acquainted with since I've been out here that didn't make it. Many more that did get jump started one way or another. But
Robert.
yeah, just recently, the last one. You can go to the health department down where Safe Harbor is, and they have them in the bathroom there. They will give you anytime you want a couple. Whenever I use up the ones I have, I go down there, I pick up 2 or 3 more, and I carry them everywhere I go, and it's paid off more than once.
I forgot. I was at Terra Nova last night because of my brother's anniversary, and just so everybody knows, outside on the building, they have 3 stations outside of the building to have 2 boxes in each one.
One thing we brought up, the subject of elected officials knowing about homelessness or experiencing it. I have never seen an elected official at a homeless shelter or a cold night shelter here. But one thing I do know, I'm from New York City, and the New York Yankees general manager, he's not an elected official, but he's just next to the owner. In the winter, he goes in New York to the shelters and he sleeps with the homeless people to learn, yeah. And the Yankees do help the homeless people up in New York. I just wanted to share with you that advice.
If I may, Norman, there are elected officials that visit the shelters. We've had Pinellas County commissioners visit Trinity. You just haven't known that they were a commissioner, but we have had them visit. They do get out. It's rare. We had a membership meeting. We had the county commissioner out there, but you just haven't noticed them, But we do have them out there. It's a slow process, but it is making progress.
Then provide feedback. Take it home, think about it, provide feedback, and if you then, thank you. Thank you.
That was like, trying to think about it.
Yeah, I think we have a public comment, we have some positive stories, we have some good information, we have some invitation to keep in touch with each other for the upcoming storms. Hopefully, we don't have to use it actually.
Right.
Finally.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Oh, and now. 7 o'clock. Oh. I did want to say I have one positive story in that, this time next month, assuming I pass my last exam, I should have a AA degree. Yay. And with that, I hope everybody stays safe. And definitely hydrate, it's hot out there. And hope to see you all next month. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I don't get started, this is not where you.
Please,